Our campus community is blessed with so many amazing people who embody BYU-Idaho's mission to develop disciples of Jesus Christ, who are leaders in their homes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and in their communities. We want to introduce you to some of them and let you hear their stories. This is the BYU-Idaho Disciple Journeys podcast. I'm Isabella Salazar. My interview today is with John McSwain, and this is John's journey. John, can you talk a bit about your conversion?
Yeah, so my family and I was converted when we moved to New Jersey. I was around 8 years old, and my sister came in contact with missionaries on the street. She invited them in the home, and my mom, being a Southern hospitality type of woman, she invited them right in, fed them some food, and we investigated the church for a little bit. And then my mom was the first to be baptized. And then it was me, my brother, and my sister-in-law at the time. My sister, however, wasn't able to be baptized because she passed away before that can happen, unfortunately. But my mom did do temple work for her. But we saw that later in life, because you don't really recognize it in that moment, that possibly that was her mission, to bring us to the church. And, it's been such a blessing to be a part of the church since then.
Yeah. Wow. So you were only 8 years old when you got baptized. When your sister passed away, did that raise any doubts in you about the church or anything, just with the timing with that?
I don't think it raised any doubts with me. Being at an early age, I didn't really fathom the process of death. I even remember saying to my sister, walking up to her casket, like, all right, I'll see you later. Like it was something like, she was just laying there and pretending to be asleep, and I just, see her in that moment. It was devastating for my mother. No parent should bury their child. But we dealt with a lot. My mom, unfortunately, dealt with a lot where, she started smoking, and, at one point in time, we did become inactive in the church. That doesn't mean that we weren't going to church, but we weren't active in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that bore burdens on my mom and stress. And, it was hard for my sister's father as well, because, he went to drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. My mom was unfortunately abused by him. We had to go to a women's battle shelter and, figure things out from there. But over the course of time, getting through that hardship, we were drawn back to the church.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot. How much time went by from from when you guys kind of became less active to when you came back to the church?
So I would say it was a course of probably four or 5 years from when we weren't active and coming back. There was possibly some visits here and there to the church. We're thankful for missionaries and other members of the church that we had a closer relationship with to reach out to us and, ask us if we were in need of food or anything, right? So that course of time, like I said, we weren't really active in that church. We'd always go to church because my mom's, super religious, if I can say that. Just being born out of Mississippi, you got to go to some type of church. But it was really hard for our family in that time. We didn't know where to turn, really. But when we got back into the church, I remember, going to Boy Scouts, creating friends with other members, and just really trying to find my way, I guess, as a young priesthood holder. And it was just uncertainty that kind of grasped us all, of like, where we go from here. Like I said, it devastated my mom. She didn't really know where to turn. She had to get some counseling, of course. But it was a tough time for us, but we were thankful to return to the church.
Yeah. So was it the members of the ward in your area that kind of helped bring you back to the church? Is that what kind of inspired you guys to return?
Yeah. And, throughout that whole devastation and traumatic experiences, we moved from that area. We started off in Morristown, New Jersey. That's where we became converts of the church. And then we moved about 30 minutes away from Morristown. And we didn't know what ward we belonged to, so we went to a different church where our neighbors invited us to for a while. And then one day we had a knock on the door from a member of our home ward now, and he invited us to, our home ward in Fardell, the Fardell ward in New Jersey. And it was just a welcoming of just love and just absolutely, I can't explain it, but we felt like it was a new family for us. It was a welcoming family for us. We felt like we were blessed to be in a smaller ward because Morristown was a lot larger. And I think that aspect of it felt like family. It was a smaller ward. We got a chance to know all the names, the bishop of the ward, who was later that person that came to knock on our door. I guess the bishop was called down at the time when we went in, and then he became bishop. So it was very special to us to have that relationship with the bishop and be close to him and his family. And we were just unexpectedly blessed by, just several invites to dinners, and, anytime my mom needed a blessing, she received it instantly. And, like I said, me being a young age, and that would probably be 11 into my teenage years when we moved to this new ward, it's weird because I didn't realize that, what I had in that moment. It kind of, in a way, took the church for granted, took, all these people reaching out to me for granted, just because, not only dealing with my sister passing away years before, but dealing with, being in a homeless shelter. And at a time my mom was sick and I had to be in a foster, parenting home. And when you're that young, it's just a lot of confusion, a lot of things that you don't know what's happening. So when I actually got of age, 18 and older, going into the college years, I at first went into this culinary college, didn't work out. I, had a job at this major chain over in New Jersey. And through that course of that time, I was thinking about going back to school. And one of my members from church mentioned Pathway Connect. And I didn't, take it to heart. I just kind of put it at the wayside. I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks. I'm looking at other schools. But then I actually looked into it and saw the module that they had for it. And I enrolled, and I loved it. It was the first time I ever been in a learning environment where it infused the teachings of Jesus Christ with academic learning. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. I'd never been in that environment. That module where we're teaching one another was fantastic as well. It helped me become a better employee because I'm now preparing lessons to teach my fellow students. And that kind of gave me a skill of being a leader in a way and guiding other people to the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. So you started doing Pathway Connect. What made you want to transition to on-campus schooling here at BYU-Idaho?
Yeah, so while I was going to the Pathway Connect program, I was, like I said, working as a grocery store manager or, in that position. I also had a lot of other jobs. I had gotten my licensure for massage therapy, which worked out. I was doing some Uber and Lyft, all I can do to gather some type of, financial security. And my thoughts were, yes, I'm getting my education or certificate with Pathway. That's going to help me out. After Pathway, they give you an option of enrolling into a church university. So you have BYU-Idaho, BYU-Hawaii, and Ensign College. I thought that, I would never go to any of these schools on campus. So I just, went with BYU-Idaho, from a prayer and just suggestions from other folks. And I was enrolled for about a year and a half on online student as in BYU-Idaho, still thinking I had a different career path, right? I was this manager. They were training me to become a higher department manager. And I just didn't foresee myself coming out to Rexburg, Idaho, until one day, one of the members of my church, him and his twin brother, had asked me to meet. And, I didn't know what it was about. They sat me down. They told me how their father from BYU, who was a professor at BYU, I think he still is a professor at BYU Provo, he had visit our ward one day when I was teaching Elders Quorum. He loved what, I was teaching and how I, delegated that lesson. And from their family meeting, they came up with a plan to help me come out here to Rexburg, Idaho as an on-campus student. It was all up to me. They left me up with several options. They said, hey, let's first get you out there to Rexburg, visit the campus, the university, see how you like it. And that process, if you do like it, search for apartments or places to stay. So I came out here in June of 2021, and I had visit with a on-campus professor in the business department, as well as Christian Malum, who's the video production professor. And that was one of the areas I was thinking about, communications, video production. I really had my eye set on radio, though, because I had that inspiration to be a radio host, a DJ or something like that. And looking through the website on BYU-Idaho, I saw that there was no actual programs or, majors with radio, but I knew there was like a practicum or something, a class of the sort where I can, get my foot in the door. So I figured, the way I can do that, get my foot in the door, is declaring a communication major. So that's why I met with Christian Malum. And in that month of June to September is when, the fall semester started. I had to make that decision to be an on-campus student. I had to figure out a budget for myself to come out here. And I had to figure out ways to have my mom be taken care of where she's not worrying about who's going to help her out because, over the years of age, she's just become, less healthier and stuff like that. So I had to figure out a lot of different things in the span of maybe 3 months just to be prepared as an on-campus student. As soon as I came out here, I'm sorry I'm going all over, but when I came out here in June, I loved the campus. I love the environment that this campus has. Meeting these professors inspired me to say yes, to drop everything, because I thought I was going to be some manager at a grocery chain for the rest of my career and retire like that. But I decided to drop it all, and start over in a way to get a great education. And Rexburg was that place. And it was scary.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was scary not having family, not having friends, coming out here on a whim. It was super scary.
Yeah, and all the things you had to do to prepare and give up your job as a manager.
Yeah. And even, I'm sorry, but like 2 weeks before coming out here, moving out, I had everything planned. My mom was set. I got in a car crash at George Washington Bridge. And it was
this was on your way to Rexburg.
This wasn't on my way to Rexburg. It was about 2 weeks out before moving to Rexburg. Okay. I had planned to take all that I can in my car, which is a Hyundai, and just drive out to Rexburg, and buy whatever I need out here when I get here. But got in a big car crash with an 18-wheeler truck on George Washington Bridge. And that was a process itself. It took 3 hours for emergency responders to come check on me or get, report this accident. So I had a lot of time to think. And in that moment, I thought things were going wrong. I questioned if it was even the right decision to come out to BYU-Idaho. And I had a lot of time, so I pondered, I prayed to God saying, hey, if this is something that you want of me to get education to go out to Rexburg, let it be, because right now my car is totaled. I don't know how I'm going to get to Rexburg now. I'm leaving it into your hands, Lord. And, it worked out where I got a rental, which was a lot bigger than my car at the time. So I was able to fit a lot more belongings in and drive over. The bishop at the time had his son help me out with the drive. And there were several different stops that we've made where we slept over family members' houses, which was incredible. Just, people welcomed us into their homes. And when I got here, I was so thankful that it all worked out, because even like 2 weeks before, it seemed doubtful that I was going to be an on-campus student for BYU-Idaho.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that is so crazy. So a theme I'm seeing is support from others. There was the family who inspired you to come here and were helping you kind of plan out a budget and helping you get there. I think sometimes it's hard for people to see how they can help others. Like, they want to help, they want to serve, they want to be there for people, but they just don't always know how. Do you have any advice for people who maybe just don't know where to start as far as helping others?
Yeah. Listen to that small, still voice of the Lord. Listen to that prompting that you get to help someone. There would be moments, you see it out here in Rexburg, Idaho, where people are stuck on the side of the road. They have a flat tire or whatever. And then, you see 2 or 3 cars coming to help them, give them advice, give them a hand, whatever it is. So listening to that voice, listening to that prompting to help someone, if you have that, listen to it, go with faith, help them out. It won't, I hope it won't lead you to the wrong, place, or, that you're getting bit by it. But I believe if you listen to that prompting, that everything will work out.
Yeah, I believe that. So, another kind of thing that you've seemed to have a lot of experience with, unfortunately, is just difficulties or like unexpected trials coming up and tragedies. And I know that with that, people, they either turn towards God or they turn away from God. And it seems like you've been turning towards God. So how have you been able to do that despite the things that come up?
Fortunately, in my experience, I love to learn the hard way. And amongst those moments of not being active in church, mostly in my 20s, I went the other way. I went a different path. I thought I knew everything. Started hanging out with a lot of, bad groups of people, who go out to party, drink, whatever, and not think of the consequences. So it's only till I reached rock bottom that I had nowhere else to look but to up and to pray and to put my faith in Jesus Christ and Heavenly Father. I think that's a lot of for a lot of people, unfortunately, that's the way we come to God. We got to hit rock bottom in order to see that He's the only way, or He's the light that we're searching for in that darkness. So for me, it's when I am in my darkest moment that I have turned to the Lord. Recently, after my 20s, I didn't wait to that dark moment, of course. But that's one of the major turning points, I think, in my life, where I just, said, I'm here for you, Lord. I'm, going by faith. I'm going in your will. Let it be done. And it has benefited me in my life to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. How has your experience here at BYU-Idaho helped to draw you closer to Jesus Christ?
I think it's simply said, as President Alvin F. Meredith III has said in our recent interview, that involve the Lord in your learning, right? And I would like to add to that in everything you do. So involve the Lord in your learning and everything you do, including your family, your career endeavors, wherever it is. I believe by doing that, it has drawn me closer to the Lord. It has made me a better or stronger disciple of Jesus Christ by, thinking of Him at every moment, thinking about how I'm keeping my covenants and upholding them, thinking about keeping the commandments and inspiring others to do so, leading by examples. All of these things have drawn me closer to the Lord and Heavenly Father.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been great talking with you.
Indeed, this was fun. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the BYU-Idaho Disciple Journeys podcast, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. A special thanks to our guest, John McSwain. Our theme music is by Sophia Pack, and I'm Isabella Salazar. You can listen to more episodes on your favorite podcast app or find us online at byui.edu/radio.